Hi, everybody. Claudia here from Hugo Coffee Roasters. As you all know, we are a coffee company on a mission to save animals, and we do so by doing week-long online fundraisers for a specific rescue somewhere in this country. And today we are in day 5 of said fundraiser, and we're with the lovely Taylor from Wayward Journey. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Claudia. Thank you so much for having us.
We're thrilled to have you, and we want to hear all about Wayward Journey. I know you're a relatively new rescue, so let's chat about how Wayward Journey came to be.
Yes, we've been officially operating as a nonprofit for only about 2 months.
Wow.
So we're pretty new, but we were in the process of getting everything together for almost a year.
Okay.
So a lot of effort has gone in to this, and Wayward Journey partners with our local municipal shelter to provide services for the shelter.
Awesome. So where are you?
We're in Grass Valley, which is in Northern California in the Sierra foothills.
Okay, so you're between Sacramento and the foothills.
Yes, about halfway between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe.
Okay, awesome. And what is the municipal, is it the Grass Valley Shelter?
Yes, the Grass Valley Animal Shelter, which is run by our local police department. So it's our municipal public shelter in Grass Valley. And it serves Grass Valley and Nevada City within the city limits.
So prior to Wayward Journey, what did the shelter do?
So unfortunately, the shelter didn't have a volunteer program or a foster program. So we came in with Wayward Journey to train and recruit and manage the volunteers. So in just about 2 months since we've been operational, we now have 34 volunteers at the shelter doing things like walking dogs and providing enrichment and cat cuddling and all of that.
That's
we
awesome.
also run their foster program.
That's what I was going to ask. So prior to Wayward Journey, did the shelter have a foster program and an adoption program?
Adoptions, yes. The shelter is open 12 to 4, Tuesday through Saturday. Okay. And so the public can come in and meet the animals and adopt the animals. But we did not have a foster program. Okay. So that is something new that Wayward Journey has established.
That's awesome. And how many fosters do you have in your network? We
currently have 11 foster care providers, and the network is hopefully growing. So we're actively recruiting people. And we have 12 animals in foster right now, mostly kittens and special needs cat.
And how many animals approximately, how many animals can the shelter, what's capacity for the shelter?
So we have 20 dog kennels, so it's a smaller shelter. But as I'm sure you and all of your followers know, shelters are way over capacity a lot of the time. So we're doing pretty good. Our adoption rates have been great. So we do have open kennels in our shelter right now, which is amazing. But yeah, 20 dogs and probably, let's see, I'm trying to envision our cat room. We could probably house about 12 cats.
All right. So the more fosters you have in your network, the more impact you can have in getting those animals out of the shelter and getting them ready for adoption. Now, do you at Wayward Journey facilitate adoptions?
We don't facilitate adoptions. That is all done through the shelter, but we do promote the dogs for adoption a lot. And then our foster families can promote the animals that they have in foster as well and sort of try and find adopters for them. And then the official adoption is done through the shelter.
So it sounds like, a couple questions. You must have had a relationship with the shelter in advance.
Yes, myself and Alex Maloney, who's the president of Wayward Journey, we were both volunteers at the shelter. And Alex managed a different shelter for 5 years. I have a vet tech and dog training background. So we both had been at the shelter and we recognized the need.
Yep.
And so we formed a nonprofit to be able to fill that need.
Yeah, absolutely. And also forge this very good, hopefully a great relationship with the shelter. Because I do know that it's not always easy.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
always easy to develop a relationship between a rescue and a local shelter, whether it be municipal or county shelter, particularly when maybe there's a feeling of competition for adoptions.
Right. Right.
So I love the working together. I that they're still doing the adoptions, but you're helping with the adoptions. You're certainly helping by offering, foster care services for animals, which is great, which means they can save more and more animals. Now,
Mhm.
you think your shelter would be game to have like an adoption event or something like that, or show up at the county fair with a bunch of adoptable animals and have a booth?
Yes. And in fact, as Wayward Journey, we're already doing that. So we have a little adoption event that we do at Scraps Dog Bakery, is a little local pet shop. So the first Friday of every month, we take some dogs from the shelter there and we set up and we have a little pop-up and people come and say hi. And so we're already taking dogs and doing little adoption events and promoting them.
That's awesome. Now, has it been kind of smooth sailing since you started? Because you've been working, I know while you were pending your 501c3 status, I'm gathering you were probably working well with the shelter during that window of time, if not before.
Yeah, it's been really great. Everyone has been super supportive of us. It took about a year getting everything established with the city and with the police department, and we did presentations to city council, and there was a lot of work to get the partnership and the MOU finalized. But everyone has been so supportive, and they love having us there, and it's a really great partnership. We work really well together.
I think that's great. Now, does your cities, do they do any granting of monies?
So we are 100% volunteer based.
Mm-hmm.
So we are donation and volunteer based only. So we're not part of the city budget at all. So everything that Wayward Journey does relies solely on donations.
We need to change that, Taylor. We had the same situation here in Summit County years ago. I ran the rescue years ago that had that same purpose that you were created for back in the day, which is now 30 years ago. And luckily our community, there's a pot in every budget for nonprofits that fulfill basically a governmental function. Right. So like, maybe a domestic violence shelter or whatever it might be. So we use that route to get funding so I'm just saying, Taylor, down the road, think about it.
Yes, we are hoping to grow.
Yes, and you are providing an incredible service that is an otherwise governmental service that a municipal and county government provides, which is animal control. Right? Animal control, and then nobody comes to get the animals, so then the animal's up for adoption, and then they do the adoptions and that kind of thing. And the service you're providing is wonderful, not to mention the impact of doubling or more, the ability to double or more the impact just through being able to take the animals from the shelter when the shelter's at capacity. That's awesome.
Yeah, we are also one of our big things that we're fundraising for as well is veterinary care for the shelter animals. So in just 2 months, we've already spent out at Wayward Journey over $2,000 for veterinary care for the shelter animals. So that's one of our big missions as well.
Sure. Now, is the shelter spaying and vaccinating and neutering?
Yes. So the shelter has in their budget for spays and neuters and vaccinations for all the animals. But extra things like we have an old dog that could really benefit from a dental. or
sure.
we have a wonderful dog right now that has a torn ACL. So we did x-rays to see the severity of it, put him on crate rest, maybe treating a skin infection or minor surgeries or things that are outside of the budget that is set aside by the shelter. So basically anything that's not spay, neuter, and vaccination.
I'm really glad that the shelter's spaying and neutering and vaccinating. And yes, of course, you're going to find animals that have additional medical needs. So yay for you for having, raising funds to fulfill that need. Because, I've told this story a million times, but I had a senior foster and he was so shut down, just so shut down, had a dental, got a ton of teeth pulled, and it turns out the poor baby was just in a ton of pain.
Yeah.
And he just came out of his shell and he became like this completely new dog within 48 hours of getting his teeth pulled.
Wow.
Like you really couldn't even walk the dog. He was not remotely interested in a walk or anything.
Wow.
Teeth pulled, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. Yeah, we would be, imagine how we would feel if we just had a toothache all the time.
Right.
It'd be miserable. Yeah.
Imagine if you needed a root canal and 10 teeth.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'd be totally shut down in bed all the time.
Yeah.
So, and now this is a crazy question, but I know are you in a somewhat rural area or no?
Yeah, we're not a city for sure. I grew up here, so I still call it a small town, but it's not as small as it was when I was a kid.
So I was just wondering if the shelter ends up getting other species, but what other species it gets besides dogs and cats? Because I know in Summit County we have quite a bit of the county is rural, obviously, and there are lots of different animals show up at the shelter.
Yeah. Yeah, we primarily get dogs and cats, but we did have a bearded dragon come in 2 weeks ago, who went into foster with the president of Wayward Journey. So we got her into foster, and she's been adopted immediately.
Sure.
And we have a domesticated king snake at the shelter right now.
Okay.
So occasionally we'll get
some in line for that one.
Not yet. It just came in a couple days ago.
Yeah.
But occasionally we get a bird or a bunny or something like that. But majority is dogs and cats. But the shelter, because it is run by animal control, they are contracted to pick up any animal at large, whatever that might be.
Exactly. So. Yeah. So, in Summit, we've had horses and pigs and sheep, goat, you can imagine because there's farms and ranches around. So, so I'd be interested to know in the future if you're going to expand to pig fostering.
I wouldn't put it past us, but
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, our shelter our jurisdiction is just within city limits. We do have a county shelter that usually gets all of the farm animals.
Yeah, you might get chickens.
Yeah, we might get chickens.
With the cost of eggs, people are getting chickens left and right. And what happens then? The eggs go down in price and people dump the chickens. So there's potential chicken in your future is all I'm saying, Taylor. So that's very exciting. 2 months in, you're cooking with gas, you're doing well. You have 11 fosters. Now, how many animals have been adopted as a result of Wayward Journey's efforts since you started?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't have that number off the top of my head. Let me think. It's probably around 10, I would say, in the last 2 months. We've done, I got roped into being a kitten foster. So I've adopted out a couple kittens myself.
Well, it's kitten time.
What's that?
It's that time of year. It's kitten time.
It is.
Yeah. Where everybody's lousy with kittens right now.
Yeah.
Because they're being born like crazy. So now, Taylor, we are on, it is Friday. And we have had our fundraiser began Monday morning. It ends Sunday at midnight. And just to remind or alert your fan base, which I'm sure you have a big one, 2 important things. One, the coffee's fantastic. It's really good coffee. It's premium coffee. We don't just rest on our mission. Our coffee is really good, served in 5-star resorts, that kind of thing. So yay to coffee. If
Mhm.
you don't drink coffee, we have a ton of stuff on the website, swag, dog bowls, dog toys, popcorn randomly. We have popcorn right now. T-shirts, all that kind of stuff. And the fundraiser is we donate $2.50 for every item sold on the website during the course of the fundraiser. Not every order, every item. So you want to encourage multiple items in an order, like a 3-pack to get people through the next 3 weeks of their coffee needs. And Beth, as you know, is our philanthropy manager at Hugo, and Beth will give you a shortened URL after the fundraiser, what you can give out to your fans, and if they buy in the future using that URL, we will continue to donate to you in the future. So that's
Amazing.
exciting.
Yes. Yes.
And we have 2.5 more days of the
Mhm.
fundraiser, which is a holiday weekend. So people are home. Maybe, I don't know what your weather's going to be, but if it's,
Beautiful.
is it? Okay. Well, people got to get out of the sun and onto their damn computers to buy coffee and stuff so that we can write a big old check on Tuesday, probably, because Monday's a holiday. So Taylor, give me an idea of what kind of impact like a $300 to $500 donation would have on Wayward Journey.
That would be amazing for Wayward Journey. That money would primarily go towards veterinary care for the shelter animals.
That's right.
Yeah, so that could be the difference between like your foster dog being absolutely miserable
Yep.
and having a dental and coming back to life. So
It was extraordinary.
yeah, I bet.
Do you happen to follow Tiki?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, Tiki is a rage on TikTok right now with a foster. She's a foster. She's a very shut down foster. Been very, very, very shut down. And I swear to God, Tiki got better faster after her dental.
Yeah.
Dentals are so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're uncomfortable, it's gonna have a big impact on you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have, like I said, we have 2.5 days. We got to get the word out to get people to buy. So I can write you a big old check so we can have more of your animal. We can help take care of your medical bills so that you can keep going and getting animals healthy and adoptable and happy and not in pain.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Taylor, you have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to writing the check on Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you, Claudia. And thank you, Hugo Coffee.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Sounds great.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.